I'm Aveline. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. So today we are building my second build with the Werewolf game pack. So also, by the way, thank you to the EA Creator Network for making this video possible by giving me early access. Although I think the pack is coming out today. So technically I don't have to say that anymore, but still, just to stay on the safe side. We're building an underground house today for werewolves. I almost said vampires. Ooh, drama. Okay. No, still for werewolves. And this one is built on a 20 by 15 in Moonwood Mill. I think I only got like two 40 by 30s left and then a 50 by 40 that I don't really know what to do with because I don't remember what's on it right now. But I think there's a family home on the 40 by 30 in this area of the map, and then in the other one there's like the rebuild factory situation. So I don't know, I probably won't have a house ready for you guys tomorrow, but I'll try to see if I can get another one up on Saturday also with this pack. But today we're focusing on this one, so it only has room for 1 to 2 Sims, or 1 to 2 werewolves I should say. And not that they're not Sims. I don't know why I said it like that. Please don't come for me. But also, I really tried to get this whole vibe of the pack's items out in this build. So it looks very run down inside the underground house. So once we start with the interior, you'll see what I mean. I also was slightly inspired by a book actually. So if you have read House of Earth and Blood and House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas, there's one of the characters is called Rune, and he lives with his two friends, and they live in like this frat boy house. Like that's sort of what they're supposed to be, but not really. It's hard to explain. I don't know how to explain it. They're not frat boys, but they're kind of frat boys. Whatever. But they live in this house that's completely run down. They've been living there for like 50 years, and they throw way too many parties. The furniture is falling apart. There's tears in the wallpaper and cracks in the ceiling and in the walls too, and you know, all that stuff. So I was kind of like, while I was decorating this underground house, I was keeping their house kind of like how I pictured it in mind. Although I think they have a pool table, and I didn't make room for one of those in this house because it is a tiny house, so we don't have a lot of space to play around with. But if you've read the book, I don't know, let me know if you kind of imagined their whole living situation to be somewhat like this. It's just, this is kind of like my idea of it, although I would say in a much, much smaller scale. So just keep that in mind. But also I think a lot of their furniture has been purchased new, and then it's just kind of fallen apart over 50 years, and they just can't be bothered swapping it out with new furniture because that requires actually looking into furniture and like setting it up and everything. I just don't think they care enough. But for this house, some of it looks very used. Actually, I would say a lot of it looks very used over this more like DIY look that some of the furniture also has. I would say it's mostly worn furniture in this house. Or furniture that's been there for a while. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing. I will say it's also ironic because the 3 frat boys in that book are technically fae. They're not technically fae. They are fae, and they hate werewolves. So it's kind of funny that I'm taking inspiration from their house for a werewolf underground lair. I'm sorry. If you're a massive fan of the frat boys, please don't be offended. But anyway, so that's what we're doing. And I also wanted to make sure that in this underground house, lair, whatever you want to call it, they also had access to the werewolf tunnels. So I added one of those boxes that you can enter if you're a sim. I don't actually know if you can, I don't think it'll lead you anywhere if you're not a werewolf. I think I tried on my sim before I started recording the overview, and then it didn't really lead me anywhere. I had to go out again. But I think if you're a werewolf, it'll lead you to like a hangout place somewhere, maybe. Don't quote me on that because I don't know. I also wanted to make sure that they still had something to do above the lair. So they have this like, it's not a cottage, I don't know, what, a greenhouse situation, I suppose, and a couple of tree pots outside. I used a lot of trees for this lot because it was supposed to look like the lair was kind of hidden by all the trees. that's very difficult to do, especially when you also got to keep in mind that as a YouTuber, as someone who builds on YouTube, I also have to make sure that the house actually works for a thumbnail. So you can't keep it totally hidden because then you wouldn't be able to see it on the thumbnail. It's a whole thing to keep in mind when you're building. So obviously I couldn't like super hide it, like I couldn't hide it very well, but I could kind of pretend like I was trying to hide it. I don't know, it's the whole thing. But hopefully you can see what I mean. I don't know. I was having a lot of fun with this house. I also think it's been a while since I've built a tiny underground house, and I think on a video some weeks ago someone asked me if I could do one, or maybe it was over on Twitter and I kind of noted it down but then never got to it, so I figured once we got access to this pack, it would kind of make sense for them to have an underground house for some reason. I don't know, I just feel like this whole vibe just fits with underground houses with like super worn down furniture and everything's just falling apart kind of. There's a lot of cracks in the walls too, and the flooring's not necessarily super nice and everything. So I just kind of felt like it would fit. So, but again, if there is anything you'd like to see from me with this pack, like built with this pack, let me know. I don't think I am gonna do, also this is just me playing around with the layout, by the way. We are not ending up doing it like this, definitely not. I kind of realized that the bedroom area wouldn't fit in anywhere if I ended up putting the kitchen over here, so I moved them around, but you'll see that in a second. But if there's anything you'd like to see with the pack or done with the pack from me, let me know in the comments, although I don't think I'm gonna do an LP. There's lots of LPs out there. It's never really fully been my thing to record LPs. I don't know, I could see myself recording other games, but I don't, for some reason I just feel like whenever I start an LP, because I have tried before, LP by the way is short for Let's Play, so that's just gameplay recordings. Whenever I've started an LP in the past in The Sims, I've always kind of just been like, this doesn't feel right for some reason and stopped it. So I don't think I'm gonna do one with this pack, but like I said, there are plenty of other Let's Players out there that you can watch play around with this pack, so I don't think you're gonna miss out on anything if I don't do it. But yeah, I don't know what it is. Sims LPs and me just we don't work that well together. I could see myself, again, recording other games just fine. Just for some reason, it doesn't really work with The Sims. It's the same with Stardew Valley. I don't see that as being like an LP kind of game for me, if that makes sense. So anyway, we're not gonna do that. But if you want to see any other builds, definitely let me know. Or if there's anything else you got questions about, also let me know. And also, if you haven't read House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas, I highly recommend that book anyway. Also the sequel. But I would recommend you go into her other series before you read House of Earth and Blood. If you got questions about that, I've talked about her books over on my booktube channel, which is linked in the description and probably also in the pinned comment today, actually. Yeah, I'm a bit of a book nerd, so if you got any book recommendations too, let me know. Or if you want any book recommendations, I'm okay with maybe throwing a couple your way, so feel free to ask. Anywho, I kind of figured it would be fun for the living room situation, the living room area in this mini house. I always want to call it a mini house. It's very, very small. Everything's very open planned too, but I kind of felt like placing it on a diagonal because I felt like if I had to place down this 3-seater couch and then also make sure that they had a, what's it called, a TV, it just felt right to place it on a diagonal. Otherwise, the whole layout would have been a little bit weird. The couch would have been an issue as well because it's so wide. But it's the couch that I wanted to use because I actually really like this couch. I like the look of it. I like the vibe of it. It's I mean, it's not a couch that I'd be like, yeah, I want that in real life. Obviously not. But I like the vibe of it for The Sims. I feel like it has some personality. It's been through some things and we've been missing a couch like that. And I've said that every single video that I've done so far, but we truly have been missing a couch like that, so I'm very excited about it, as you can probably tell. So the bookcase or shelves unit, whatever you want to call it, here behind the TV is actually made out of just shelves, and our base game, by the way, and then a couple of iron poles that I think you're supposed to use them for, they're in the debug catalog. I think you're supposed to use them for a fence that's also in the debug catalog, but I remembered there being these iron poles and I thought, okay, that's a little bit industrial. We can maybe have some fun with it. So I decided to make a little bookcase unit out of it. Also because obviously we have a bookcase over here, which by the way is not actually blocking that side of the bed. You can access both sides of the bed. I made sure that it was functional, so you're good. This house can actually be for 2 Sims if you want a couple living here. But other than the bookcase, they didn't really have any place where they could display their werewolf items. I don't know what those are called yet. Like the statues and the cow plant skull and jawbone and stuff. So I figured, you know what, let's just make up our own thing. Also because some of the or none of the one tile bookcases I felt like they would fit in this house, especially behind the TV. So we just made up our own. It's completely fine. Used it for decor as well. I feel like there's a nice like vibe in this house. Also, I adore the posters. They are so cool. And also, I like how they have like different motifs. There's a little bit of everything. There's one that's a little bit more feminine as well. And we got that one over here above the sink, which is kind of like cool-ish. I don't know. Kind of like a bad boy wolf on it. I don't. Anyway, you get what I mean, hopefully. But I just like that they have different vibes. I really like the posters that they added to this pack, but also the big one that's next to the bed. That one comes in all different kinds of swatches and it's really cool. I've been using it a couple of times in this build, actually like 2 or 3 times. So in different swatches too, so no worries about duplicates or anything. Also this punch in the wall, like I feel like someone may have cooked something on the stove and it burned or something and they got mad and just decided to punch the wall. That's kind of my thought process there. I don't know. It's not something that I personally would do. I'd probably just be like, okay, well, I am gonna eat something else, or okay, I'll just live off of snacks today if it happened to me. I've not been in that situation. The only time I've actually cooked something that I ended up not eating was, I'm gonna tell you guys a horrible story now. Okay, it's not horrible, but let's just not exaggerate. But my dad gave me some homegrown cucumbers and he didn't check them before he gave them to me. Turned out one of them was old, so I cooked with it and didn't notice because why would I not trust my dad? Anyway, it did not taste great. I don't know if you could imagine, but like biting into cucumber that's old is horrific. So that was the thing. I threw it out, I ate something else, we're all good. Did not punch any walls, was my point. But I feel like if you're a werewolf, you might have some anger issues now and then, and punching walls is probably better than punching people, so, you know, I added that little thing. Other than that, we're just doing some landscaping. I'm having a struggle with the trees, and I think that is pretty much about it for this build. So if you guys like it, you can download it off the gallery. My ID is AvelineYT, and you can also find it under the hashtag Aveline or AvelineYT. And as always, the tray files can be found over on my Patreon, which will be linked to in the description box down below. And also yesterday's build is also up on the gallery and on Patreon now, so if you were looking for that one, you can go find it right now. But that is all I got for you guys today, so I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and all that good stuff if you did, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!